Hello everyone, and on this lesson we are going to talk about components and selection. And first of all, let's create an object. This is going to be sphere, and this sphere, polygonal sphere, has its own components. The main components are vertices, faces, and edges. We have some other components, but they are not so important, like these three. So our vertices is just points in space. Each vertex have its own coordinates. Edges is what connecting these vertices, and the faces is the surface between these edges and vertices. Easy as that. And to model efficiently, we will need ability to select these components. And we have a lot of ways to do so. So first of all, we have our selection tool. And we can select our components just clicking on them one by one, or we can box select everything, and everything will be selected through all the way through the object. That's how it works in Maya by default. And we also have couple more tools to make selections. So under our classic selection tool, we have lasso tool, and this will allow us to select components with a lasso. Everything inside the lasso will be selected through all the way through the object. Easy as that. And we also have paint selection tool. This one, as you can see, works with a brush, as a brush, and you probably will need to reduce the size of a brush. To do so, we can go to this tool, double click on it, and here we have radius parameters. You will need to reduce it drastically. We also have interactive way to reduce brush size. If I will hold B and left mouse button, and I will drag it from the left to right, you can see we can adjust mouse size, brush size, and after that we can effectively select polys. Sometimes it is really handy in case of triangular polygons like this, for example. And of course, with our main selection tool, we will be able to add or remove selection too. So let's see how to do so. The first thing we can use is shift. If I will click shift on polygons, you can see they're being added to selection. But shift is not add, it's actually a toggle. So if I click on selected polygon, we will remove it from the selection. So we can add and we can remove polygons from the selection with a shift. You can try it out a couple of times, easy as that. And if I will box select with a shift, we will get the same result. So as you can see, some polygons will be removed from the selection and some polygons will be added to selection. But what if we need to box select and add only? Of course, we have the shortcut. If we will press Ctrl and Shift and box select, or just click, we will only add polygons. If we want only subtract the polygons, we can use Control. And this way we can only add or only subtract. So subtract is Control, add is Control and Shift. Also, sometimes we will need to select the loop of the polygons. You can see these rectangular polygons are connected, kinda, in a strip, and we will need to select all the strip, and we can do so if I will select the polygon and shift click the neighboring polygon in the direction of this loop. We can do so only with the quads. Select the polygon, select shift click on the neighboring polygon in the direction of this polyloop. Easy as that. And we can select multiple of these strips and work with them. Sometimes we will also need to select only some kind of a pass. So from one poly to another, and we can click on one poly, and later we can click on the poly until we want this pass. With the edges, everything is the same. We have edge loops, and we can select them in the same way. We can add selection with Control Shift, or we can subtract the selection with Control only. And the edge loops are working exactly the same. And we can select them in different directions, or we can select some kind of a pass. If we will click on the ending edge or polygon of a pass we need, like this. So the same thing we can do with vertices. And of course we can go back to the object mode if we will click right mouse button and select object mode.